For a few years now, my missus has been selfishly wrecking my head about wanting to go abroad for a holiday. Sure, on the surface it sounds great. White sand, sunny beaches, cheap booze, and proper theme parks that will bring out your inner child faster than a coat hanger. But it's not all mojitos and scantily clad ladies. It can be expensive to get there. You have to travel a lot. And the bit that nobody tells you about, abroad is full of foreigners. But like a good little boyfriend that's been eroded away by the naggings of time, I eventually caved and we went abroad. Tenerife, for those who care. And you know what? I actually enjoyed it. I got my fair share of medicine, seen so many nips I began to suspect I finally got the hashtag Diddy's out for Ducky to trend on Twitter, and stuffed my face with all the viciousness of a militant feminist finally presented with a flute. Surprisingly, I had a really good time. Although... one thing people never mention when they talk about their holidays, or vacation for you dirty foreigners, is the waiting. Oh my Christ, with a top hat, the waiting. Wait in the car on the way to the airport. Wait in the airport because you have to arrive 2 hours before your flight is due to make sure you check in your bags. They can't be over a certain size or weigh more than 5 kilograms because bombs apparently weigh 5.1 kilograms, and if you want to bring one of them on board, it'll cost you extra. You gotta check yourself in so the plane doesn't leave without you. Like they'd leave without the most important person on board. Then wait when your flight is delayed because the pilot needed time to finish his pint. Then waiting on the plane chit-chatting with strangers to help distract you from thinking that we're travelling 1,000,000 miles an hour in a metal tube equipped with giant Orbis containers of extremely flammable liquid, and every person on board that isn't you is probably planning on blowing it up. Then you land at stupid 0:00 in the morning, wait for a bus, wait on the bus, wait to check in at your hotel, and then you finally get to lie down on your bed, and the mattress is harder than a blind man at a fishmonger's. Fun fact that a lot of people don't know. The place we went on holiday, Tenerife, is located just 5 miles from the surface of the sun. Granted, it didn't take me long to figure that one out when I stepped off the plane and immediately burst into flames. Everybody knows the sun agrees with white men as much as Brie Larson, but I'm an Irishman, which is easily the whitest of white. Put it this way, if there was a Dulux colour chart for skin tones, I'd be the colour of the page. So that turned my fantasy of sunning myself by the pool with a cocktail in one hand and a sun-kissed arse in the other into a cruel game of brief naps being interrupted by the sun rudely deciding to move across the sky in an attempt to creep under the umbrella to torch my toes. Now, I stupidly thought that 15 layers of factor 50 sunscreen and staying in the shadows like a shy vampire at a brothel would be the smartest choice to avoid becoming a staple meal in a Chinese restaurant. Crispy duck. You see, it's not all dirty jokes. Sometimes they're just bad. But despite my solid logic, it turns out that a thin fabric umbrella can't actually stop the full might and power of the sun. And I might as well have slathered myself in cooking oil for all the help factor 50 did. Because by the end of the week, I was absolutely torched. Between my bright white skin and red sunburn, I look like I really loved Poland. Of course, the missus loved the sun. She took to the sun like a misogynist to a whip, enjoying the pain and soaking up as much sun as she could, though I won't hold it against her too much. The sun is somewhat alien to the Irish, so being angry at an Irish person getting excited over the sun is like introducing your dog to snow for the first time and becoming angry when they inevitably attempt to eat it. Time to test the loyalty of my audience. Do you know what I really hate on holidays? The blacks. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will catch you lads and ladies in the next one. I wonder how many people are currently on the ground after falling backwards off their chair in shock at such a statement. It's 2019, so probably anybody under the age of 25. Get up off the ground, you soft fools, it was a joke. Of course I don't hate the blacks. Though the blacks in Tenerife are a pain in the arse. Let me explain. So in a lot of European countries and tourist heavy spots near beaches and whatnot, there is an army of Africans flogging cheap knockoff jewellery, sunglasses and anything else you can get from China for less than a quid. And they are relentless. You can't go 5 minutes without being swarmed by one of these overly happy T1000s. Tan 1000s. There is one every 20 steps and they're all selling the same thing, so it's not like you're browsing different shops. It's more like you're browsing the same shop, but the staff keep changing. And I'll tell you this and I'll tell you no more. They do not take no for an answer. You say no thanks and they pick that up as sell it to me harder, bad boy, and continue to push it non-stop. It's insane how aggressively they sell that crap. I was even sitting at an outside table at a bar, enjoying a drink, having a nice daydream to myself, when one of them snuck up behind me like an overly polite assassin with way too much bling and scared the shite out of me with a "Hello my friend." And I can tell you, going from enjoying a drink and fantasizing about what it would be like to be a millionaire to being startled by a poor man's Mr. T with an offer of 2 Armani watches and a diamond bracelet for 50 quid is quite the jarring experience. Now I know very little on how and why to holiday, but one thing I do know is it's very hard to enjoy it when you want a nice relaxing stroll by the beach, but you have to plan your route out with military precision to avoid them, and have a plan in place for the ones you can't avoid, or just not go for a walk. Works out quite well, though something tells me they'd still find you. I can tolerate waiting, I can endure sunburn, I can't tolerate being pestered non-stop by these plebs, especially when the whole reason I'm there to begin with is to relax, unwind, and take a break from being pestered by people. Now, it's always a bit touch and go when saying you don't like a particular group of people, especially when that particular group of people are a particular race. But that's not the case here. I'm not a racist. It just so happens that most of these people are black. In fact, I for one am outraged at them. Where are their whites? Where are their Asian staff, huh? It's 2019, clearly workplace diversity isn't a priority for these people. Those racist niggas.